Hey, Shalom. Kahala Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakakadash. The abundance to the elders and the apostles of great millstone. Peace and blessings be to all the Akim now preaching this word in truth and sincerity. Shalom. This gonna be another quick lesson, and Lord, when you're edified. Alright, so what this lesson is gonna be based upon is a quote that was stated by the man that goes by the name of Alfred Henry Lewis in the year 1906. Right, and the quote is civilization is only 9 miles away from anarchy, man. Alright. So that's what this lesson is going to be based upon. I'm going to pull up the meaning of that quote here in just a second, man. But if you brothers aren't familiar with the word anarchy, it basically means, lawlessness, mayhem, um, chaos, just a complete lawless society, man. And that's what America has coming to the shores, man. A completely lawless society. All right, and I was watching one of the elder brothers, his channel, if I'm not mistaken, the channel name is GMS Awakening By. All right, he basically went into famine, and that's what this lesson is gonna be based upon, famine, man. All right, because whenever there's a real, actual famine, you can't go to the grocery store and buy food. People gonna be losing their goddamn mind, man. All right, people gonna resort to robbing each other, cannibalism, all types of things like that. Go back to the book of Second Kings, the 6th chapter, man. The story of the two Samaritan women. They were making a deal with each other, making an agreement to eat each other's kids, man. People was buying dove's dung, which is dove, bird shit, because of how hungry they were, man. All right, that shows you how desperate the people were back then during these different famines. So how much more in this time? Because the Lord stated that this was going to be like a time never before in history, man. Right, so people are going to be on a whole nother level of starvation, man. Right, just eating any and every goddamn thing, man. That's how desperate people are gonna be. All right, but let me pull up this the meaning. I got it right here. It says in 1906, Alfred Henry Lewis stated, "There are only 9 meals between mankind and anarchy. If there were an interruption in supply of food, that's really what's happening now, right? Esau, he's setting up a man-made famine, this is all through the spirit of the Lord, man, because the Lord, he controls what's going on throughout the planet Earth, man. All right, this is the Lord's movie. So whatever Esau has planned is because the Lord's putting it in his mind to do that, man. All right, so if I'm not mistaken, in the book of Job, 30th chapter or the 14th chapter, it's something like that. The Lord said that he sends angels down to show the instruction of man's mind, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so whatever they got going, it's because it's of the Lord, man. I says fear would set in immediately, right? And you've seen whenever, at the beginning of this so-called pandemic, Esau told everybody to go buy toilet paper and shit like that. Everybody went to buy everything. Everybody was panicking, wearing masks and going to buying all the damn bleach, the pine saw. That was fear setting immediately, but it's going to be on a much, much higher scale this time, man, whenever there's an actual famine. It says, and if the resumption of the food supply were uncertain, then fear will become pronounced. After only 9 missed meals, it's not unlikely that we'd panic and be prepared to commit a crime to acquire food, man. Right, and people that can't go at least without 6 hours that are eating. You know what I'm saying? Jake, hey, we like to eat, such as myself, shit, I love to eat, man. All right, but people, they ain't never been on no fast, man. All right, so whenever this famine do take place, and hey, because the Lord, he not dealing with most of these people out here, man. All right, so that's why he said, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. The majority of these people out here are going to be starving, man. So whenever this actual famine does hit, all the stores and shit are shut down, there ain't no more food. People going to be going crazy, man. You see, people's mood change after like 6 hours without eating. They get all hungry and shit, especially these women, man. Like gluttonous ass women. They mood change, they get all mad, they have attitudes. So how much more if they go without go 9 meals without eating, man? It says if we were to see our neighbor with a loaf of bread and we owned a gun, we might well say, "I'm sorry, you're a good neighbor, and we've been friends for years, but my children haven't eaten today. I have to take that bread, even if I have to shoot you, man." And that's in the book of 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter. Man should have no pity upon his neighbor, and also the love of many shall wax worse, man, because in that time it's gonna be like everybody for themselves. It don't matter if you've known that neighbor for 20 years, man. If you ain't got nothing to eat, man, and you got kids, guess what you gonna do? And your neighbor have food, you gonna go to his door, with a strap, and you're gonna take whatever he got, man. All right, those are the times that we're coming into, man. All right, sedition among men. All right, so I'm gonna play a little bit of this clip. It's 47 minutes long, but I'm not gonna play the whole thing. I got certain, marks that I'm gonna, get to on this video, so it shouldn't be too long, man. All right, but I will advise y'all to stay in to watch this, man, because they spread some good knowledge, man. All these different things that happened throughout history, man. Hey, it was some crazy shit that I never even known about until I watched this video. But the time we're coming into, man, it's gonna be on a much higher scale, man. All right.
In the United Kingdom, during the year 2000, a fuel protest developed over the rising cost of gasoline and diesel, with truckers, farmers, and the general public forming blockades at oil refineries and fuel depots, disrupting all systems reliant upon oil. Day 1 brought about panic at the gas pumps. Day 2 brought about panic at the supermarkets. On day 3, the panic turned ugly, provoking the soundbite heard around the world. Civilization is only 9 meals away from anarchy, stated by Lord Cameron of Dillington after bearing witness to the perilous conditions unfolding in the United Kingdom as food and fuel began to disappear.
Right, and the Lord said in the book of Timothy that we are in perilous times, man. The word perilous means troublesome, dangerous. We're in some dangerous times, man. All right, and sooner or later, ain't gonna be no food out here, man. All right, and you're gonna see how people really feel about each other. They're gonna be killing each other like crazy, man. Eating each other, all types of, crazy stuff, man.
Appointed head of the Countryside Agency in 1999, Lord Cameron's alarm resonates with a fear that the veneer of order, complacency, and civilization depends on food being readily and effortlessly available, which in turn hangs on the threads of transit routes that can be shut down on a moment's notice. Chain reactions would ensue with frightening speed, thanks in part to both the short timeline from disruption to collapse of a logistics system and the short fuse from civility to civil breakdown when food runs out. Now, the just-in-time delivery system, otherwise known as JIT, J-I-T, is a logistical production strategy to improve a business's return on investment by reducing in-process inventory. The larger the inventory, the more money will be tied up and utilized in purchasing, storing, and insuring those goods. Not to mention there is the risk of losing money should the inventory lose its shelf life. Now, the problem with JIT is that it leaves suppliers and downstream consumers open to supply shocks and demand changes. So let's examine a few historical examples. Major economic reforms in Russia during the early 1990s sparked social and political turmoil as the country began to move to a regulated market system. The price of food and other consumer commodities began to double in price.
And that's what's getting ready to happen here in America, man. All right, we see a little bit of it right now. You got certain things that are starting to rise higher in price, such as eggs. If I'm not mistaken, they're raising 16%. Something like that. I looked it up a while back, but there's certain things that are gonna be at a crazy amount of fucking price, man. At a crazy cost. Like for a gallon of gas, it's gonna be like $100, man. For a fucking for a box of eggs, it's gonna be like a whole ass $40, man. So that's gonna cause people to what I'm saying, come up against the government and stuff like that, right? They should not regard their kings nor princes, man. All right, people gonna start coming up against the government. Civil unrest gonna completely break out, man. Right, and they're starting to talk about this a little bit, taking place around the time of the election, man. Yeah, man, we in them times where all hell is getting ready to break loose, man. Right, and a civil unrest happened at a very high rate, cause right now this ain't shit, man. Ain't nothing really going down. But once it really happens, martial law will be declared, man, and you can expect all hell to break loose from then on there, man. All right.
Led to panic buying, hoarding, and shortages.
Panic buying.
Statistical data from the era has shown that Russia far outpaced the United States in production of several major food products, which begs the question as to why such food shortages were occurring. Well, trade wars had erupted and paralyzed food shipments as each city.
Right, and that was the whole cause of that taking place in Russia, man. Trade wars. And isn't America in a trade war right now with China, man? That's where we get most of our shit from. It's China, man. Right, we're in a trade war with them right now, and there's people that works at these different imports when they're getting things, merchandise from China, and they're basically saying that they're not getting stacks of merchandise like how they used to, man. So hey man, we in that time where these things like this are gonna be taking place at a very, very high scale, man. All right, in America, these Americans, they got lots of guns, man. There's over 400 million guns here in America alone, man. That's damn near double the population, man. All right, so whenever this civil unrest shit really takes place because of lack of food, there's gonna be, hey man, bloodshed. It's gonna be like a war zone. You know, you hear these different shots in the hood, and that ain't shit compared to what's finna happen, man.
The Indian Republic tried to retain whatever it produced. The larger cities became the victims of blockades by the rural regions, who were resentful that food sales in the cities were now limited to the residents of those cities.
Right? And wasn't that just happening? Where you go to the store and you can only buy a certain amount of, you know what I'm saying, product. Like you can only buy like 5 cans of beans, just making an example. You can only buy like 1 or 2 caseloads of water, man. That's what was happening back then in the early 90s in Russia, man. All hell was breaking loose there. So how much more here when this shit really goes down, man? Just something you got to think about, man. Right, it happened on a small scale, but it's getting ready to happen on a very, very large scale, man.
Cities. And fuel shortages ensued and slowed or stopped the trucking and railroad industry. The system of transport, storage, and distribution of consumer goods had virtually disintegrated, and panic buying prevented the restoration of any balance to the marketplace. The 2003 Northeastern blackout was the largest power outage in U.S. history, affecting 55 million residents of Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Vermont, and Canada. Entire commuter and freight rail operations ceased to exist. Air traffic was brought to a standstill. Traffic signals, message signs, tunnel lighting, and ventilation systems and pumps to control flooding in depressed roadways failed to operate. Traffic management, that took a secondary priority in many areas as emergency service personnel focused their efforts on freeing individuals trapped in elevators or dealing with life-threatening situations. Minutes after New York City lost its power, 490 million gallons of raw sewage began to flow into the surrounding waterways of the Hudson River, East River, and New York Harbor due to non-functioning backup generators. In Detroit, Michigan, and Cleveland, Ohio, the loss of water pressure permitted bacteria growth to form in the municipal water supply. Vinyl chloride was released into the waterways of Ontario, Canada. And in Cleveland, all 4 of the city's water pumping stations went down at once, leaving 1.5 million residents without water. In Detroit, backup generators could not. All 4 of the city's water pumping stations went down at once, leaving 1.5 million residents without water.
Leaving 1.5 million residents without water, man. That's a lot of people.
In Detroit, backup generators could not produce sufficient pressure, leaving 4.3 million residents without water.
4.3.
A supply shock ensued as jugs of water sold out immediately across the region, as an estimated 50 million people were without water, either due to contamination concerns or just shortages in general. In Russia, during the year 2010, a severe drought and wildfire in the western region destroyed 20% of the country's crops.
All right, that's about it right there. Let me jump to the 7-minute mark. What is it? 7:54. Cause like I said, I'm gonna be, skipping around certain parts so that this video don't be as long, as this actual video right here, man. All right.
Occurred at a Freedom Industries facility in Charleston, Virginia, polluting the Elk River and leading to a ban on the usage of tap water for drinking, cooking, washing, or bathing. This affected over 300,000 residents in 9 counties. Panic buying.
So basically, there was a chemical spill in Charleston, Virginia, right, and that prevented people from taking baths, drinking tap water, and all the other things that you use for, tap water for, man. Right, so people started panic buying. Go and look at this video or look at this photo, man. See dudes in there with fucking nothing but toilet paper and water, man. All right, that was the same thing that was taking place, and it's nothing for Esau to pop up a different false scenario to fool the people to get them to start panicking and stuff like that, to get them to do what they want them to do, man. Because they're having success with it. They tell everybody to buy tissue paper, So they go and do that. They tell everybody to go buy this and go buy that. They go do it, man, because these people are fucking sheep. They don't know what's going on, man. All right. So it's nothing for them to pop up with a fake scenario to get them to do what they want them to do, man. Because the people are already wearing masks. You know what I'm saying? Sooner or later, they're gonna get the people to take the vaccination and then a chip, man. All right.
As area residents flocked to the stores and stripped the shelves barren of bottled water and disposable eating utensils and dishware. On February 14th, 2014, the Guardian reported a wave of violence.
Let's jump to the 10-minute mark. What is it, 10:42?
Known as ATA, detailing the consequences of travel. July 14th, 2006, a study was published by the American Trucking Association, known as ATA, detailing the consequences of travel disruption within the trucking industry.
Right, and it was quoted, when trucks stop, America stops, man. And why is that? Why is that the case? Because these trucks, man, they import different, goods like groceries, other different merchandise and stuff like that into these grocery stores, into your Walmarts, etc., man. So whenever these trucks stop, importing goods, man, these grocery stores, they're not gonna, have any food in there anymore, man. You're not gonna be able to go to your Walmarts, to your, your different grocery stores and stuff like that, your different supermarkets to get food, man. All right. So that's why when these trucks stop, America's gonna stop completely, man, because it's not gonna, basically, function anymore.
The ATA, founded in 1933, is the largest national trade association for the industry, representing its members before Congress, the executive branch, the judicial branch, and regulatory agencies. This published study.
And Salakia, another thing I wanted to quote too, there's brothers that work at, different trucking companies and stuff like that, and they said that they're not really getting as much, orders and stuff like that to take to these different warehouses because there's not really anything to bring, man. All right, so we definitely in that time where things like this are going to be taking place, man, and it's going to lead to all hell breaking loose, man. Complete anarchy.
Is called When Trucks Stop, America Stops. Now, focusing on the aspect of food, this publication noted that an average fuel service station requires a delivery every 2.4 days. And based upon these statistics, the ATA reported that the busiest service stations could run out of fuel within hours of a truck stoppage, and the remaining stations following within 1 to 2 days. The ripple effect that follows a fuel shortage among many areas would include the disruption in the production, processing, and transportation of food to the marketplace. Now, the ATA reported in that publication that significant food shortages will occur in as little as 3 days if the trucking industry is non-operational due to any number of occurrences.
All right, so when these trucks stop importing goods, man, when they completely stop, food will run out of these different grocery stores within a matter of 2 to 3 days, man. Because people are gonna be panic buying, going and just buying up everything. People are gonna be looting as well, going and just stealing shit, man, because they're gonna be panicking. All right, so hey, man, you could just imagine how it's gonna be out here. You watch these movies on how like people fighting over shit and stabbing each other, going there carrying their choppers, man. Hey, it's gonna be just like that, but on a much more higher scale, man. All right, people gonna be taking their guns in there, blowing people down. Hey, bro, it's gonna get real hectic here in America very soon, man. Whether people believe it or not, man. And we've been warning the people, letting them know about these things, man. All right.
Hospitals and nursing homes will exhaust their food supplies within 48 hours. During emergencies, consumer behavior does triple the rate of inventory turnover as fear and panic exacerbate shortages, ultimately leading, according to the ATA, to civil unrest. Now, as reported by Lord Cameron,
civil unrest is basically uproars of the people, riots, looting.
Supermarket shelves remain barren for 3 days due to shipment disruptions. Law and order would begin to break down, and chaos would emerge from within the population.
Right, chaos will emerge, man. Right, civil unrest, but there will not be law and order. People are not going to be getting punished for the different things that they're going to be doing because even the cops, they're not going to be out there doing their little duties, being out there, on their little shifts and shit like that. They're going to be trying to go and take care of their own family, man. Well, now all hell is breaking loose, man. All right, so there isn't going to be any law and order. Right? There's not going to be a certain amount of penalty, a type of penalty for the ones who are breaking the different rules, man, because it's going to be a lawless society, anarchy, man. All right? If it's a lawless society, that means everything goes, man. And that's really what these elites want to happen, man. Right? So they can, push forth their agendas, man. All right?
A complete change in the psychological and sociological behavior of an individual will occur with the emergence of a primitive and primal-like behavior developing. The need to feed overwhelming ethics, morals, and lawfulness. Let's examine why that occurs.
What is it? Okay, Con, I'm playing a little bit more of this and I'm going to go ahead and get to some scripts because the video is already 20 minutes long.
1954, a psychologist by the name of Abraham Maslow wrote a book called Motivation and Personality, in which he expressed what he referred to as Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, this is an organizational format used to understand the psychology of human needs, consisting of 5 stages of growth. The first stage is physiological, pertaining to the most basic fundamentals required for human existence, specifically oxygen, shelter, water, and food. Safety is the secondary stage, relating to personal safety and security, financial security, and health and well-being. The third developmental stage is love, which is the desire of wanting to be accepted within or to belong to other social groups such as family, intimate partners, or friends. The fourth stage is esteem, focusing on having respect for oneself and the desire to be respected by others. Self-actualization is the fifth and final stage, in which a human realizes their full potential in life and then strives to achieve it. Now, according to Maslow, each stage must be fulfilled before progressing onward, as each level forms the foundation and builds upon the next. And if a human being is unable to feed themselves, all other stages of developmental growth will not matter, as the need to feed becomes the driving force to satisfy the physiological level, with little regard to morals, ethics, laws, or consequences of actions undertaken to fulfill that requirement. And long throughout history, a coexistence of this behavior and hunger, or even the foreshadowing of food deprivation, have sparked this reactionary response to resolve or prevent the hollowness of an empty stomach. In 1918, the rise in the cost of rice in Japan caused...
All right, so that's how I'm going to play on there, members. You see, once people start to, get hungry, ain't got no food, people are going to start doing violent shit, man. People are going to be going around, stabbing each other for what they got. All that. We read in the quote right here that it says, it's not unlikely that we panic and be prepared to commit a crime to acquire food. If we were to see our neighbor with a loaf of bread and we owned a gun, we might well say, I'm sorry, you were a good neighbor and we've been friends for years, but my children haven't eaten today. I have to have that bread even if I have to shoot you, man. That's going to be the mindset of a lot of people. Even if you grew up with your homeboy and stuff like that, and that time, at that point, you're not going to care, bro. If you're hungry, you're going to do whatever it takes to eat, man. All right? And it's a lot of things that took place in this video right here, man, that I didn't really get to touch on, but I'll leave it in the comment section, because man, different, throughout different atrocities in history, people was on some violent shit when they got hungry, man. In 1609 to 1610, basically there was a great famine, so people started, getting so damn desperate to eat that they started digging up people and eating dead bodies, man. That's what's getting ready to happen, bro. That shit is crazy, man. All right. So the first scripture I'm gonna get is Luke the 21st chapter, because the Lord said before He returns to the planet Earth that famine was gonna be, present on the earth, man. All right. Luke 21, and I'm gonna get straight to the point. Verse 11. It says, "In great earthquake shall be in diverse places." There was just an earthquake within a few hours ago, man. Literally a 7.5 magnitude earthquake that happened somewhere around Alaska. That's a big ass earthquake, but there's going to be many much more of those earthquakes, and famines, which is what this lesson is based upon. Famines, man, and pestilence and fearful sights and great signs shall there be from heaven, man. Right, so in the end times, these things are going to have to happen. These things are going to take place. It says in the further verses that this generation shall not pass till all these things come to pass, man. Right, and we're in that time where all these things are going to come to pass. That's how we know that this is the very and same last generation, man. As a matter of fact, let me go back to Luke the 21st chapter because there's a scripture that I wanted to grab. Give me a second. Maybe it's not in here. Damn. Maybe it's in Matthew's the 24th chapter. Bear with me one sec. Yeah, Con, Matthew's 24 and 12 it says, but or Matthew's 24, yeah, Con 12 it says, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, man. That's exactly what's getting ready to take place. You know, we read in the quote that even if you know that even if it's your neighbor, a long time neighbor, man, in that day, if you got a gun and you hungry and he has something to eat, man, you gonna go take it, man, because the love of many shall wax cold, and you've seen a little bit of it right now. You know, mothers are killing their kids, all types of crazy shit like that. But how much more in that time when there's no food, man? Whenever all hell's completely breaking loose, like you watch like the movie, The Road, Cloverfield, stuff like that. People gonna be completely bugging the hell out, man. All right. Now let's go to the book of Habakkuk, the second chapter, man, because, although these things are tarrying, man, it may seem like they're taking a long time. Hey, the Lord said that they will surely come, man. Right? A lot of people don't believe that these things are going to happen on the planet Earth, man. But hey, man, they going to happen. The words of the Lord are faithful and true, man. You can best believe that they going to happen. The Lord is not a man that he shall lie. Right? So all these niggas that don't believe, hey, let them not believe, man. Right? Let them stay in their unfaithfulness, man. The Lord said that all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness, man. Right? And whenever this shit really happened, they gonna know that damn that was a prophet that was among me, man. He told me about these things happening, man. Right? Habakkuk 2 and 3 says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, right? These different prophecies, therefore a set time, man. They're not gonna happen when we want them to happen. They're not gonna happen when anybody else wants them to happen. They're gonna happen whenever the Lord has them written down to happen. But at the end, it shall speak, and we end the end, man. And it's starting to speak a little bit right now, but soon it's gonna be on a full blown scale and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it because it will surely come. It will not tarry, man. So though it seems like it's taking a long time, hey, you should wait, man, because it will surely happen. And for all you niggas that don't believe, man, hey, it's gonna catch you off guard, man. And it's gonna be a sad time for you. All right, Second Ezra 16 and 18. I'm trying to speed up because I've already went 27 minutes. Second Ezra 16 and 18. It says the beginning of sorrows and great mornings, right? All these are the beginning of sorrows. Jake, they always say this, can 2020 get any worse, man? Yeah, it can, bro. It's gonna get worse, man. Just wait until you see 2021. 2021 going, hey, be a way much more worse than 2020, bro. All right? The average mindset of these people out here is they're looking forward to a good year. Right? Well, the different evils that the Lord is bringing upon this earth, hey, that's good to us, man. The ones that, truly trying to get the kingdom, man. All right, but Jake, they want to stay here, so that's why they don't, really, like these things. It says the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars and power shall stand in the fear. It's like in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come, man? Right. So all these things that are taking place upon earth are just the beginning, man. All right. So if that's just the beginning, that means it's gonna be some shit way much more worse than what's happening right now, man. That's what the Lord said. That this time is gonna be like a time never before, man. All right. Because hey, it's gonna be, pretty goddamn hectic out here, man. All right. Verse 22. For many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy, man. Right, so a lot of people are getting ready to perish by the way of famine, man. And you can read in the book of Lamentations, the fourth chapter, that it is better to die by the sword than to die by famine, man. Because when you're dying by famine, it's a very slow death. You could live to about 2 to 3 months without having any food, man. All right, so that's just a full 2 to 3 months, just dying a painful death, man. Throwing up blood, so weak that you can't even lift a finger, man. That you can't even move, man. Right? You could be laying there just so weak, then a fucking cannibal come up and just start eating you, man. Like the Lord, hey man, he's a terrible power, man. All right, the Lord, people getting ready to fear the Lord back, man. Right? Because he's gonna send that vibration back to the world, man. Because the Lord, he hasn't really done anything in the eyes of the people. So the Lord, he getting ready to do a work of magnificent work, man. So the people gonna know that, damn, there is a God, man. Because this is a unfaithful generation, man. All right. So now let's get second Ezra 15, and I'm gonna start at 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands," man. Right? And that's what's getting ready to happen, man. There's over 400 million guns here in America, man. So anybody and everybody that's going to be out there, going to these, looting these different stores and stuff like that. And there's also going to be, different, people fighting against each other, Edomite against Edomite, Edomite against Jake, Jake against Edomite, Jake against Moab, stuff like that, man. And they're going to have swords in their hands, guns, man. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the courses of their actions shall stand in their power, man. Right? And we're also going to find out why they are going to be invading one another, man. Right? Breaking into each other's houses, man. Right? But it says they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the courses of their actions shall stand in their power, man. Right? And going back to that video, civil unrest, man. People going to be out here doing as they please, man. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able to. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, man. And people here in America, they are very prideful, man. They are very prideful, but the Lord is getting ready to bring all that shit to an end, man. Especially you women, man. You women are getting ready to be humbled at a fucking great level, man. Right, y'all gonna find out in that day, in that time, that y'all ain't got no power, man. Yeah, y'all had the liberty, you know what I'm saying, before the hell broke loose. Babe, when all hell break loose, y'all not gonna be able to do what the hell y'all want. Go watch the book of Eli, man. You women are gonna be doing as the man pleases, man. Right? Not to mention that you're gonna have these different these booty hungry dudes in jail. They're gonna be let loose. And they're gonna do whatever the hell they wanna do with you, man. And there's nothing that you're gonna be able to do about it. Right? You either gonna get down with what he tell you to do, or hey, you're gonna get put to death. Simple as that, man. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with a sword and spoil their goods. Why are people going to be doing these things? Here's the answer. Because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation, man. So people are going to be, taking each other's food, breaking to each other's houses and stuff like that because of the lack of food, man. All right, so those are the times that we're living in, man. All right, for you brothers, that are in this word, amen, continue to hold on to this word and continue to, to build your relationship with Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, man. So then when this time come, we be covered. All right, because the majority of these people I heard, man, they going to get put to death, man, in some horrible fucking ways. And that should motivate you to, continue to push, man, because who wants to die in a horrible way, man? Who want that smoke with the Lord? I damn sure don't, man. All right, so with that being said, that's all I had to bring out, Slack, for it being, kind of lengthy, man, but, it's all through the spirit, man, But with that being said, Lord, when y'all was edified, before I close, I want to say, call out Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakadash. Nobody to the elders and the apostles, a great millstone. Peace and blessings be to all I can now pushing this word and truth. This is Yeti Shalom and Abba.